In today's video, I want to share a flip through of the nature journals that I did with the kids and with actually a classroom, a co-op classroom some years ago. This particular journal, this one was mine, so myself as the teacher or the tutor, I decided to do the nature journal alongside with them. And so it starts like this. I simply encouraged each of the students to write down what they noticed, what they wonder, and what it reminds them of. And for me, someone who isn't an artist or a professional artist, right? We're all an artist in our own little way. I encouraged the students, and they were sixth graders at the time, to write and draw whatever they saw, however they seemed fit, because I wanted them to have a love for nature journaling. I always encouraged the date and encouraged them to put the weather however they wanted to do that. So this is just a photo that I captured. And then on another page, you notice that I have the date here. It doesn't look like I have the weather anywhere. However, I have the same theme. I wonder, I notice, and this reminds me. And when I was taking a look outside this particular day, I saw yellow star thistles, and here's a scientific name for it, and I drew that. And this is a roly-poly, and the actual name is a pill bug. And so I drew this big oval thumbprint, if you will, and I wrote the scientific name right here, and that it's a pill bug. I wonder if the thorns truly hurt. I noticed the cheerful yellow color. These remind me of prickly pellets I had near my home in Florida. And that was, this was done years and years ago. And then, there we go, there's a better view. I took a photo on my phone, and this is my nature journey. Excuse me, I can't speak today. Here we go. Nature journal entry. I did draw something, right? And this is my font, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. And then I just decided to print it out. On this page, saw something in the magazine, matched it with a color swatch here, and I wrote verse 2 of a song, For the Beauty of the Earth, and here's the date. On this page, I have the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, what was I doing? I was in Florida. Oh, I was at the beach, and this is my beach photo in Florida at the time, and here are the weather conditions. And here is the rest of the weather. 82 degrees, but it feels like it's 75 due to the wind. And I just encourage the students, this is all a part of nature journaling. And this is at least my interpretation. Like I said, I wanted the kids to have a love to nature journal. And this was for a botany class, and I just required it. And so for the first, I think 10 minutes, we did a show and tell, and everybody, if they wanted to, would share what they drew. And I always started so that it could just encourage everybody. Here I have a poem, and this is, what is this? This isn't parchment paper, but I mean, it kind of feels like that I overlaid. I put the Latin word for the gourd. Here's the date, here's the weather, and a little bit more. And then down at the bottom, my son was starting. This is the corn maze. All right, and then I have the corn maze's name there. I put a little something that I learned new here about bees. And I did notice on here, I forgot to put the date, but that's okay. Over here, we go back to the date, and then these two are stamps, and then I drew everything else. And here, I only did that it reminded me. I only did that one, that trinity of phrases that I mentioned at the beginning, that it reminds me of my godmother. On this page, I didn't say anything about it reminds me, I think of, and all that. I just drew the trees, American flag. What park is this? San Ramon Central Park with gratitude. And this is Veterans Day. On this side, I put I finally noticed, and then the leaves remind me of those key phrases right there, and then I wonder, and I put an emoji there. I typed this out. Here's some washi tape, but then I drew this part. All right, so on this page, I just want to share something extremely important. There are only 2 items here that we would put in the category of nature. We have a sun and we have a squirrel resting under the car. You know, when I had this 6th grade class, it was mainly boys. Actually, the majority of the class were boys, and I wanted to just develop that love to nature journal. You know, I was asking them to do this at their home or when they were out and about and just take 5 minutes and to observe a space, even 3 minutes, just to stop and pause and observe. And I wanted them to draw whatever was of interest to them. And when I show you my son's journal, you'll see where the majority of the book is cars, and that was okay. But here we have a house, we have a car, a stop sign, a fire hydrant, and only 2 little things that are nature, you know, part of nature. But it was part of the experience, part of what was of interest to me, at least at the time, because this is mine. We have the date and we have some information here about the weather and the time. And I just wanted to share this page and say, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to do it this way. Let's take a look at this next one. Here we have a bird, I'm gonna say, a sad bird. There's a sad face there. We have a butterfly. It's pretty. And let's see. There we go. Ooh, okay. I think if I remember correctly, not only did I have the kids in my class do the nature journal, but also my youngest at the time, and she, let's see, she must have been 5, maybe 5 years old when this class was taken. So she did her drawing to whatever she saw fit, just to be, you know, be alongside with her older siblings, because once we got home from the co-op, then I would take my 2 oldest and we would go and do this nature journaling as a family. So here we have Target, and we have a tree and a car and the sun. Oh, and McDonald's. There you go. That was her observation. And a popsicle. Ice cream. Okay, so we see where this is headed. This is fun. I haven't looked at this in a little while, so this is fun. Ice cream. More ice cream. More ice cream. That works. And a clipboard. And yeah, so this doesn't have, this is about 2020 and the cases and such. This doesn't have a lot of nature in it, but you know what? That's all right. So here we have my son's journal, and he says, I wonder what bug it was. I notice it has red red marks on its back. It reminds me of bugs. And can you find the bug? Can you find the bug that he's referring to? He put a title here, bug of some sort, question mark. Here's the date. Here's the weather, sunny. And let's see, where is the bug? Can you find it? Yes, it's right there. And interesting, he put a little car here. Oh, I remember what this is. He had a remote control car. He's on a scooter. These are his sisters. We all have a little drink, and we must have walked down the street around the corner to get, a little slushy or something. And this is his interpretation of it all. He has his helmet on. I had some brown streaks in my hair. That's interesting to reflect and look back on. And I remember this. This was a remote control car that he had. All right, here's his interpretation of this. I wonder what type of wasp he was. Okay, now we have to find the wasp on here. It reminds me of a bee. I noticed that he is a type of wasp. All right, that works. Now oh, yeah, the wasp is right there. And a bigger version of the wasp. This is rain. This is rain. That was his interpretation of the day. We have a custom car and it's raining. This is a squirrel that is laying on the ground.